match washed out at Centurion Park, a draw, so both sides very eager to get a result under their belts here, and it's certainly proving to be a very, very intriguing series, this, albeit that we're only in the second test match. Well, the two teams are interestingly poised, and let's take a look at the England lineup. They've made one change, and that's Devon Malcolm coming into this test lineup, perhaps the only venue that he was likely to get a nod. And he's not been in great form, but England have opted for a four-pronged pace attack with Cork, Goff, Fraser and Malcolm. Richard Illingworth, the man sitting out. Mark Eilert is the 12th man. The South African side, a couple of changes from the first test, with Brett Schultz out due to injury. Merrick Pringle was called on as his replacement, but Clive Eckstein gets his first test cap at the Wanderers in place of Craig Matthews. Matthews has had such success at this ground. A hard selection for the South Africans, but they've decided to balance the attack with the three seamers in terms of Pringle, Donald, the four seamers, at least Pringle, Donald, Macmillan and Pollock, and then the left armour of Clive Eckstein. Well, with that in mind, England captain Mike Atherton, having called correctly, decided to field first. Well, he's got four fast bowlers, so I suppose he should have, but the pitch also well grasped, so the decision perhaps the right one. Hansie Cronje said he would have batted first had he have won the toss. Well, let's join our commentators, Jack Bannister and Trevor Quirk, as the umpires Carl Liebenberg and Darryl Hare take the field.
Umpire Hare, something of a controversial figure in world umpiring, and certainly the South Africans feel that they've had one or two unhappy moments with him. And umpire Carl Liebenberg has been touring the world, doing tests here, there and everywhere. Andrew Hudson and Gary Kirsten opening the innings for South Africa. And Andrew Hudson, we remember that wonderful debut test 100 of 163 against the West Indies. A man who's been in and out of form, at the moment in good form, after a big 100 in the Currie Cup match leading up to this test. Not a bad crowd in for the first day of the test at the Wanderers, and Dominic Cork early on getting swing.
Well, this is one of Cork's strengths, and he bowls from so close and swings the ball under most conditions, and that is a little beauty. Terrific debut at Lord's earlier on this year, and it's that away swing which can bother the left-handers such as Gary Kirsten, as well as the right-handers. And Kirsten looking for a first 100 at averaging 35, and a good punchy solid performer.
And approaching 1,000 runs in Test cricket, and an early wake-up call from Devon Malcolm. And that hit him, not sure where.
I think Devon Malcolm there, he's banged it in. Kirsten's gone for the hook, through with it, and he's clearly got it on the arm or the wrist. And Devon Malcolm's pace, that'll hurt no matter what you're wearing. There it is, the left forearm.
Another lifter there from Devon Malcolm, and that hit Andrew Hudson, and I think it might have come off his chest and up into the visor, or straight onto the visor.
Yes, it was. It's a fairly lively start from Malcolm. He hasn't been in top form or rhythm on the tour.
Very slow start for South Africa. Big appeal for LBW. And up goes the finger of umpire Carl Liebenberg. Alex Stewart throwing it up there in the gully. Now, was that LBW, or that might have then carried to Stewart?
No question in my mind. Cork went up for the appeal. He's not looking where the ball's gone. He's straight away round. Stewart, he wants to catch it. He's heard something.
Well, Andrew Hudson, whatever, out for a duck. So Hansie Cronje in a little earlier than he would have liked. An average of just over 40, one of the few South African test batsmen with an average of over 40. And that's 4 runs. There's no third man. 3 slips in a gully.
Well, with a bowler of Malcolm's type, extra pace, he's never going to be an economic bowler, and anything wide, if you give it the treatment, you ride your luck with 3 slips in a gully, and Kirsten's prepared to do that.
And that looped up over the head of the forward short leg, and I think there might have been a little bit of bat there.
I think England are still working on a theory that Hansi Cronje might be a little suspect against a short ball. He's worked hard at his game. He was found wanting a little bit at the Headingley and also at the Oval. But England are still prepared to probe around that area.
And that's 4 runs. One of his favourite shots. Backward a square on the offside. I think it might have been in the air for a little while.
I think there's a lot of John Edrich, the England batting coach, in Gary Kirsten's style. There are no frills, he's not pretty, but a punchy, strong player. Very strong there on the cut.
In fact, over the head of the man who's in at gully, quite a long way from the bat. And that too is in the air, and it finds the gap between the gully and the man at point. And it's 4 runs, but not a very convincing one. He didn't get over the top of it.
No, I think what's encouraging for South African supporters is the positive attitude of Hansi Cronje. He's decided to come in at number 3.
That's a lovely shot. He's very strong there through mid-wicket, gets his weight up nicely.
This is one of the problems that all bowlers find, not just this 4-man pace attack. Against a left-right combination, the line constantly has to be altered, and it doesn't need to be far off track and you're gone.
Well, that's a cracking shot from Hansi Cronje. It was fairly wide, but he just threw the bat at it.
That's right. Footwork, not a great deal of it, but who cares when the ball goes off the bat as hard as that.
And another on drive. That's his 2nd boundary through mid-wicket. Beautifully played.
Yes, that one was played squarer. He waited for the ball to come. Just watch the wrists go there. Lovely stuff.
Angus Fraser again. And once again he's put away through mid-wicket. Fraser will need to learn that you can't afford to bowl at Midland leg to Gary Kirsten. Good save by Darren Gough. I don't think the 3rd umpire will be asked to adjudicate on that. I think he got a boot in there and prevented it from going into the rope before he did.
Well, a crowd that's slowly building, and they're enjoying this. There goes the boot, and the other one into the rope, and there goes the rope.
And the chair. 3 runs.
I think that Atherton now, his main concern is that all 4 of his main bowlers settle into something of a line and length, but Darren Gough, short, wide, asking for it, getting it. That's the 50 partnership, and suddenly a run rate which was sticking at only just over a run and over, now climbing up towards 3.
Well, the first run came off the bat in the 7th over. And certainly these two have suddenly found their form, got the measure of the pace of the pitch and of the bowling, and they're beginning to explode. And that's 4 more.
Well, when you can pull in front of square, the batsman then is in complete charge. It was short. I'm not sure how quick this wicket is for Hansi Cronje to be able to play a shot like that, but didn't he play well?
Darren Gough, too wide, too full, and well, that's the shot I think of the day so far.
This is becoming serious for England and for Atherton. If all of your 4 bowlers don't fire, where do you go when you put them in? But again, that left foot not going over, but his eye and hand coordination superb.
Angus Fraser, and he's got it away through They're trying to close the gap on him there by putting one man at point and one at backward point. There's not much of a gap because that's his favorite shot and that's where he scores so many runs, but he got that one through perfectly.
The session suddenly becoming all to South Africa. Raymond Illingworth.
Oh, look at that.
Cronje certainly leading his side well. And England desperately need a wicket. There's been a lot of erratic stuff.
Hawk back to try and stem the flow, but tucked away for 4 runs.
Again, he waits for that ball to come on to him. Had he gone looking for that, he'd have just hit it to mid-on.
He's caught. That was the away swinger, and Hansie Cronje went looking for it. The outside edge, and the safe hands of Jack Russell, his 100th catch, I think, in Test cricket, to go with 9 stumpings.
That's right. The captain there is very cross with himself for getting out just before lunch. But all credit to the bowler. He's drawn him into that. It's gone a long way, and it's drawn the bat away from Cronje's body. He's played that 9 or 10 inches away from the front pad, but that's all credit to the bowler.
Well, he was looking so good. In fact, he looked as though he was about to tear the attack apart.
He was on the brink of it, and certainly he'd pushed Atherton into bringing Cork back because Gough was too expensive. You see how far that bat's been drawn, but Cronje might be disappointed in that. He shouldn't be. That was good bowling.
So, a big moment for Daryl Cullinan. He's not been in the greatest of form this season, and just the 1 Test 100 to his credit. 5 Test 50s, and for top-line batsmen, a very low average. And Cullinan at lunch, 11 balls faced without getting off the mark, being very watchful. 75 for 2, honours even in the first session.
That's how the 4 bowlers used have gone. You can see there at the bottom the problem that Gough caused, but in the end it brought England a wicket because Cork, most overs, and all the wickets so far, 2 of them, and he's been the pick.
Dominic Cork, Gary Kirsten, and he's got this one away past the second slip. It'll run down to the boundary, no third man, and those 4 runs bring up the 1,000 for Gary Kirsten in Test match cricket. 26th South African to reach the milestone.
In his 29th innings, 750s, still no 100, but averaging well into the 30s.
That's a lovely shot. Finds the gap. It'll go all the way. Enough timing in it.
He latches onto anything slightly offline or any error in length so quickly. Again, a lot of bottom hand in that. The top hand and arm weren't extended, but so what? He's very, very effective.
Angus Fraser going round the wicket, and that's an absolutely beautiful on drive. Gets his weight up so well, does Gary Kirsten, when he plays on the onside. And he goes to his 8th Test 50. Top score of 76, remember, against New Zealand in Auckland. They'll be desperate to get well past that. 10 fours, high proportion of boundaries in that 50.
Yeah, that's those 4s, the high proportion, have come with the close set attacking fields of England.
And that's sweetly timed and placed. Angus Fraser after it. He's a big man, not very fast across the turf, and enough pure timing as he just eased that one away through the gap. Interesting that Hick should be brought on to bowl so early as the 35th over.
Well, that's one of the problems you get if you put all your pace eggs, so to speak, in one basket.
Take that. Again, a fair amount of bottom hand, not quite as much as maybe the other one that spread through the covers, but that really raced away to the boundary.
When you're a swing bowler like Cork, you expect this sort of thing to happen occasionally. That wasn't a half volley anyway. It was hit through the bounce on the rise.
Neil Tovey, South African soccer international, loves his cricket. And he's got hold of that one quite magnificently. Bouncing just short of the rope for 4.
Cullinan was the one South African batsman to offer much resistance to Malcolm at the Oval, and on a less lively, firm pitch, a ball like that, he's climbed into it extremely quickly. Arms well extended, good shot.
And that dropped just short of the slip.
Well, Devon Malcolm wondering where the justice is, and certainly you've got Cullinan playing one side of the wicket and the ball going to the other. See, playing leg side. And it goes, not quite carrying.
Very streaky, but it brings up the 50 partnership between these two. Only 54 minutes. And that's a glorious shot. That's the shot that is the left-hander's own, the square drive.
This partnership now starting to really threaten England. Kirsten in prime form now.
In the air, shouts of catch it, but 4 runs over the head of cover.
His timing was good. He didn't try to club that. Just released beautifully.
Darren Gough. Oh, third slip would have been in business. It's his 50, but it was streaky.
He's come off 87 balls, and he's hit 7 fours. And the crowd now of over 10,000, that's what it's grown to. They've appreciated that. When it's your day, then you can ride your luck. And Gough will be wondering just what sort of day he's got coming, because he hasn't been in great nick on the tour. Also, not much cricket, not much bowling. Missed the last 6 weeks of the English season. You can have 1 or 2 of those days when every bit of luck seems to go against you.
His 6th Test 50. Oh, and another one that's in the air through the slip area. Well, he's having a little bit of good fortune, because we've had a Chinese cut. We've had those 2 that have flown in the air through the slips.
Yeah, all credit to Gough. His head doesn't go down. He knows that some things will turn sometime, but he's attacking the same line to Cullinan.
Oh, he's dropped him. Jack Russell, the wicketkeeper, has dropped him. Well, Gough can't believe it. He's on his knees. He's seen him nick him twice through the slips, and they've gone to the boundary. And now he finds the edge again, and Jack Russell puts it down.
All you can say is that Gough is not a cricketer whose head will go down as a result of that, but the frustration, the disappointment, and so often those rebounds can end in somebody else's hands, but Russell in the end, he put everybody off, including the first slip, and there was no chance of anybody, even the backhander, trying to net it.
Past Fraser, and he'll never haul it in. Now 100 these 2 have put on, and what a valuable partnership this is turning out to be for South Africa.
The run rate now in